Yes, hello. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hello, 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 hello. Hi. Sebastopol. You know, we just got to talk before we have you guys come up with questions. There's really an energetic... you guys just don't have appropriate language for the stuff that's going on these days. There is a very powerful now, let's call it that, for lack of better terminology. We don't have good terminology for this. We have to make it up as we go along. We've run out of, we can't stand saying portal again. It's like just, ugh. So we're going to say there's a very powerful now happening, just to pick something else. There's a very powerful now happening right now, as in this moment, but as in this time that you're in. And this now is giving you access to what? To what? It's not, the what isn't the question. It's the fact of the access point. The fact of the access point. The what will come out of the step-by-step exploration of what is. That the what is not the interesting bit. The now experience, that's where portal would be handy, but the now experience, grasping that. Because what happens, we always miss our chair. The now experience has to be, must be grasped. And by this we mean, you must be different in the opportunity, or the opportunity doesn't even exist. Right? Someone could say to you, here's a new job, and if you don't say, I'm willing to take a new job, it doesn't matter if the new job's there or not. It's as though it doesn't exist. You understand? That's the similar kind of thing. The opportunity is here for you to experience human form, you to experience this world, you to experience life in a new way. Now, what that looks like, the picture of it, isn't even interesting to us. Because we refuse to go out of the moment like that. We won't do it. Not even to satisfy your curiosity. What we will do is be present with you while you summon within yourself the courage and the tenacity and the wherewithal, and more than anything, the consistency to say yes to the opportunity. Yes to the opportunity. Because unlike a job that you say yes to and then you have a new job, you go to a new place, you get a new paycheck, and you do all those things. When you say yes to an energetic opening that we're talking about now, it's a commit and recommit. You say yes, and then you say yes, and then you say yes, and then you say yes, and yes some more, and then some more yeses, and some more yeses. Because you have so much habit pushing you like the tide, pushing you someplace else, pushing you someplace else. So you have to constantly, in essence, be swimming against the tide of habit that says, that's not interesting. I don't want to be washed where the tide wants to take me. No, thank you. I want to swim and be aware of the moment I'm in so that I can experience the transformation that's available to me, the transformation that's available to me. And that looks like challenge sometimes. And like we talked to you about on Wednesday. It is challenging, so you want to process this with, it's too hard, so it must be wrong, instead of, it's challenging because challenge is growth and challenge is opportunity. So as you commit and recommit to the now of this opening, the now of this opportunity, the key thing here is the tenacity to keep saying yes. And to not fall for the habit that's going to want to tell you who you are again and again and again. And because you've done it for 40, 50, 60 years, it's loud. And because saying yes to this, yes to this, yes to this, change, 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 keeps pinging you. It just keeps hitting that little bruise in you that says, oh, should it be this hard? 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 It's really easy to give in. It's really easy to give in. And because a lot of times when in that now place, hanging on by your fingernails and your toes seems like jeopardy, you'll let go of that new jeopardy to go back to familiar suffering. But you know where that road takes you. You've been down it. You know where that road leads. So we advise you strongly not to walk it. Don't walk that road. It's not going to take you anywhere new. The new road is the saying yes, the saying yes, the saying yes, and not giving in to the desire for Familiar suffering to lull you into a sleep state again. Because it's loud. Familiar suffering is loud. It never takes you anywhere new. You wouldn't be sitting here if you were interested in doing the same thing we did yesterday. That we're sure of. But you have to keep saying yes, not to what you think it's going to give you, but yes to, I'm willing to be in this moment in a new way. I'm willing to interact with this moment in a way I haven't before. I'm willing to let familiar suffering have its correct place in me, which is something I used to do when I didn't know better, when I had no other option. Familiar suffering is just a coping mechanism. We want you to have a capability mechanism, which is why we talk so much about fascination, giving you an option. Now, here's something important. You are now part of this thing we're talking about that we refuse to label. One of the symptoms or the evidences of this is that you are experiencing an escape from duality, finally. Finally. You're escaping from duality. Energetically, it's no longer a requirement for you to see your world from a dualistic perspective. Imagine that. It's been a long time coming. Ooh, it's been a long time coming. But the benefit here is that because you're no longer in duality, or no longer captured by duality, let's say. You're still experiencing duality, of course. But it no longer is the only option. So many times when something would happen that you didn't like, you would look to its opposite for a solution and never find something satisfying. You would say, I want to be reassured. Okay, I just won't care that no one reassures me. And you'll think that that's a solution. But of course, anybody who has reassurance as one of their issues knows that don't work. You go, I want to be reassured. Okay, I'll just say I don't care about people reassuring me. But the longing for reassurance doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. You're just trying to pretend it's not there. That's a coping mechanism. There's another path. But because you've been in duality for so long, and duality is so obvious in your world, up, down, right? On, off, dead, alive. There's lots of duality surrounding you all the time. You tend to look in a dualistic framework for solutions to your problems, for change. No more. How do you find the non-duality path for solutions? Fascination. You allow the moment to be fascinating in whatever way it's fascinating. So you say, I wish to have reassurance. My temptation, I'm tempted to, that's one of our tools, I'm tempted to look to the opposite of that, which is, no, I don't need it. I don't feel satisfied in that. Then I feel even lonelier, right? And that's the spiral. You've all done that. We don't have to, right? Instead, you say, God, I really could use some reassurance right now. What can I be fascinated about in this moment? And you start with the obvious. This floor is very interesting. Swirling colors. That sound of the people using the next room, what does that remind me of? The light at this time of night is just beautiful. And you say, well, what does that have to do with reassurance? What it has to do with reassurance is it brings you into the moment. It puts you where the only thing where anything's really going on is, which is now. And it makes you aware of your experience. So instead of it being, I need reassurance. Why? How come? Habitually? Because your family is not loving? Whatever reason drove you to need reassurance in the first place. Where you actually encounter a true experience of yourself is by being fascinated by your current experience. And we bet, because we've seen it work, when you allow yourself to be fascinated by your current experience, you will not feel that habitual need for reassurance in the same way. You may still have a ping of like, I'd like community. Wasn't actually that I wanted reassurance. When I get in the moment and I get fascinated and I hear the noises from next door, I think, maybe I should go see what that class is because they look like they're having fun and that's what I really want. But you have these habits in you of the pathways, the neural pathways, literally in your brain, the neural pathways of the stimulation and the way you wish to interact with it. Then you go into duality and you spin down. It's a very clear picture. Maybe Mary will make a graphic of it. You have something you want, you can't get. You pretend you want the opposite. It doesn't satisfy the need. Plus it makes you feel like you don't know what to do. You spin down in a pattern of, I want it, I can't have it, I want it, I can't have it, I want it, I can't have it. Or you say, what's really going on here? What's really going on here? Not in what's really going on here 50 steps from now, but what's really going on here right this second, right this moment. I'm sitting in a chair. It's 7:30. It's still light out. I'm sitting next to Copper Woman. Whatever, right? That's where you are. And the more you practice this, allowing yourself to be fascinated by your actual current, this second experience, and that's the key, you have to do this second. When the more you allow yourself to be fascinated by the current, in the moment, this second experience you're having right now, the less you'll want to do those old repetitive patterns of behavior that, of course, never worked in the first place. Right? You got to remember, that's dead end. Slip and sliding down, dead end. That never worked. But it's familiar suffering. It's the suffering you're used to, so it feels like a friend. Kind of hard to let it go sometimes. Not a friend. It's just a pattern of coping that you look to because you were in duality and you didn't know what else to have. Okay? Does everybody feel clear on that explanation? Yeah? 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 Make sense? Okay? Feel it? All right. Who